Welcome to another episode of View from the Stands podcast, and we are back and at it again here. Not on a Victory Monday, but again, kind of a Victory Monday. I'm Sterling, and you can find me on Twitter at Sterling Noop. My co-host alongside me, as always,
is D, and you can find me on Twitter at Chicago Jones DW. The official Twitter page for the show is at VFTS Podcast. Again, at VFTS Podcast. Search Apple Music and SoundCloud, VFTS Podcast. And then last, search us at View from the Stands Podcast on YouTube. Yeah, man. I felt like it was a victory, even though it was a loss, just because I'm a silver lining type with this team. But boy, he needs to learn how to win. This team, I'm so tired of losing. Oh my God, who wants the sixth pick in the draft? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so there's a lot that we're going to get into today on that front because there's so many different ways that we can go. I will say a couple things. So to start the season, and this is going to be something that we're going to be saying, I feel like every single show from here on out. And the thing that we said at the beginning of the season was, at the end of the day, would we like to get some wins this year? Yes. As fans, you want to see wins. That is correct. At the same point, there's also realization that, hey, this is a throwaway year because we don't have talent. And the only way that you get talent in the NFL is by spending money, which we didn't have this year, or by getting draft picks, which we didn't have this year. You have both of those next year. And so the thought process has always been, we have a number one QB in Justin Fields. Is he the guy? And God damn it, over these last 5 weeks, if he has not answered that question and told people, if you don't shut the fuck up about me being a franchise QB,
that's a you problem.
Bruh, you problem 100%. Because Justin Fields has showed us these last 5 weeks that he is the franchise QB. Not only is our folks talking about him in ridiculous ways of saying he's the best running quarterback in NFL history, which I will say is stupid as hell.
I mean, the man's breaking records as if he's going to be.
Right, and I have no problem with that. But Lamar Jackson is on the list 3 or 4 times in terms of games of 140 yards or 130 yards. Vic is on the list 130 or is on the list 2 or 3, 4 times. So it's one of those things like, hey, let's slow our roll here. Let's temper expectations, because the real problem is he's doing this right now in terms of the running because there's somewhat of a necessity to do so because of the offensive line. And 2, like your point was in terms of the tweet that you put out there, some of this is him running to save his life so he doesn't have injuries. And it just so happens that he's the best athlete on the field.
Right. 2 things. Number one, that tweet that I put out was basically like, they're talking about how you need this from Justin. You need that from Justin. You need to see him how to win. I need to see more passes from the pocket. I need to see a game-winning drive where he passes from the pocket. He's not running. Meanwhile, Justin Fields is just trying to survive.
Right.
like for real, because and the tweet that I put out was the touchdown, the 2-yard run that turned into like a 30-yard run because he juked the whole defensive line while his offensive line is standing there watching, do a spin, twirl, twist, pirouette, and then run over a dude at the goal line. That's what he has to do to score points. And you wondering why he ain't standing in the pocket tall and passing like Tom Brady. Like, get out of here.
But then the other part about it too was there were multiple times in this game against the Lions where we saw Justin sit back in there and go to read number 2, read number 3.
Thank you. If you're saying this, I'm not seeing the passer. When you see a passer, we just got a running quarterback. Either you're not watching the games, or you're willfully ignorant and blind, and you're just looking for, because he's showing you. There's been every game there's a ball that he drops on the money, and you like, that boy got it on.
But D, I feel I'm tempering my excitement and my expectations because
I don't think you should.
No, hear me out. Because right now, Justin Fields, a couple of things. Justin Fields is putting us in position to win when there's really not a lot of talent around him. There's really 2 wide receivers that are NFL wide receivers on this team. There's a tight end. No, I'll give him two. Mooney and Claypool. I'll give him two NFL wide receivers. You have Cole Kmet as a tight end that's been developing. That's still, a questionable,
recently, as of
right
recent.
over the last 5 games, right? That's been developing over the last 3 games. And you need some offensive line help, for sure. But he's putting his team in position to win games, even without any semblance of a defense that can hold any sort of water.
Putting up like
And
20
so,
and 30 points.
right, putting up 31 points, I think, the last 5 games. And this is all being done mainly with his legs. But as you and I have said before, and a lot of other people have said too, Justin Fields he's not a runner like Lamar Jackson. Like the Ravens offense is built in terms of Lamar running the ball, and that's what they're going to do, and that's what it's going to be for Lamar Jackson's career. Justin Fields' style of play is going to progress to a passing quarterback because that is who he is, and that's what he likes to do. The difference is he can run a 4-4 and he can beat you in the run, and when he needs to, which is right now, is what he's doing.
And
when he puts both of those together, it's going to be a problem for everybody.
Boom. That's it right there. And that's why what I thought you were about to say earlier was I'm tempering my excitement about Justin. I was like, no, don't do that. And the reason why is because what you just said right there. Justin is a passer. He's one of the best young passers in the game. Trust me when I say this, right? And on top of that, like you said, he just so happens to be 235 and running damn 4-4, 4-3, right? So again, this is out of necessity. What he's doing is what we were saying earlier in the year. He's not missing meals. Read, fuck it, I'm out. And he just so happens when that I'm out kicks in, nobody can catch him. Not his fault. Not his fault.
Right.
But he's not a running quarterback. Secondly,
right.
is like you said, the fact that he can do that and he's still learning the passing game, that's gonna be a weapon like you haven't seen because the knock on a lot of running quarterbacks that I've watched, even Mike had a strong arm and a live arm, but it wasn't very accurate. Same thing with
didn't have touch on it.
You can go back to Randall Cunningham, live arm, not that accurate. Even when he got to the Vikings, it was more chunk it up to Randy. Same thing with Culpepper. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're getting probably one of the more accurate, fast quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Probably the most accurate. When I'm thinking about it right now, just off the top of my head, like McNabb wasn't as fast as him. You know what I'm saying? Like
here's
McNabb would throw balls in the dirt too.
Let me,
like I can't think of a guy who has his speed and his accuracy.
So let me do it this way because I think that the person who just popped in my mind, and I think one problem that we have in just general, I'm saying you, I, and everybody else, is you want to put these African American quarterbacks and compare them to other African American quarterbacks. And Steve Young is a quarterback that would come to mind.
You see, I was drawing the 8. Like, yep, I know where he's going.
Steve Young is a quarterback that comes to mind for Justin Fields, where he's a person who can throw the ball. But early on in Steve's career, what did he do? He had a bunch of those plays in
the hell out of
Bay,
Dodge because they didn't have
getting
nothing.
the hell out of Dodge, running down the sidelines for 6 because he was trying to run for his life because he had nothing around him. And then he got some more around him in San Francisco, went on to win some Super Bowls, Hall of Famer. Now, I'm not going to put that on Justin, but the talent is there. And the thing that, you and I see and others are seeing is that he's growing in the passing game every single week.
And my thing, man, is that it's kind of like, you want everybody to see what you see. Obviously they don't. But when they do things like get really nitpicky in the media, when you're seeing unprecedented things, and like you said, we're talking about a guy who we saw the arm at Ohio State. We see it every game. We see glimpses of it every game. Like, don't get it twisted. He did throw 2 touchdowns. He did run for 2 touchdowns. He gained 100 yards. And my thing is like, where's for instance, when Mitch was in year 2,
they act like dude did not have 4 touchdowns back-to-back games.
Like, thank you. And my thing is when Mitch was in year 2, when Mitch had his 100-yard rushing game and 2 touchdown passing game, and 2 touchdown. Oh yeah, hold on, wait, excuse me. They're telling me, and he never had that. Never had it. But y'all had all this grace for Mitch. And you
Right.
want to sit there and Justin is doing this week after week after week, and you want to talk about, well, we need to see them win. I don't really care about draft position. I care about really, I wonder why. I can't quite put my finger on why.
Yeah. Something's not quite right here.
Not quite connecting as to why they're so critical of a guy who's doing things that we ain't never seen at the quarterback position in Chicago.
Yep. Yeah.
Can't quite put my finger on it.
Yep. It's something is not quite white. To your point, though, as far as Justin Fields setting records, he's now has the most rushing yards by any QB ever, or excuse me, any QB over a 5-game span in the Super Bowl era, passing Lamar Jackson this past weekend. And like you said, he's still going. He's on pace right now. If he keeps this up, he will break Lamar Jackson's single season rushing record for a QB with over 1,700 yards. And go ahead.
And I know I said this last week, but let me reiterate this point. Let him evolve in stages. Let him have. I always tell you this. Let him have the rock the cradle with the 2 gold chains, Mike Air. Like that's what he is right now.
He had the gold chain yesterday.
He was rocking the hell out of that cradle on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Let him do that now because that's the way. If we're gonna win, we're gonna win. Yeah. And if
so the other point that I wanted to go to, because you mentioned a couple of times, folks are talking about draft position and I don't want the number 6 spot. I will say this: when we lost the game yesterday, was I upset? Yes, I was. I was upset because we were up 14 points in the game, and we missed the field goal. We had a number of penalties, and of course, Fields did have that horrible interception that was a pick 6. So it was very much a game that we should have won, and it's the Lions. So
I was about to say, and it's the Lions.
and it's the Lions. It's one of those. It's one of those things where we're going to look back in 3 years and be like, we lost to the Lions that year. Like, no, we didn't. Like, yes, we the Lions fans. Justin Fields lost to us. Like,
we
no,
beat Fields. No, we beat.
Like, no, you guys didn't.
No,
and you look back and you're like, how the fuck did that
happen?
We
did beat Fields. We beat him in his second year.
Right. So from that standpoint, I was frustrated just because it was a game that we should have won. But I will tell you this, going back to some of our past shows, in past years, we always talk about those games that you have to win. Well, we talked about those games when it was a situation where we were talking about playoff teams and trying to be a playoff contender and get into the dance. This year is a year where we know that shit's not going to happen. Like, we started the year saying the most that they would get would be 8 wins. Like, that was a high expectation. Maybe they might challenge for one of those last playoff spots, but they weren't going to get it. We said they weren't going to get it. They may challenge for it, be a little fool's gold, but they're not going to get it. So to lose the game, it took me about 10 minutes to be like, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And you want to know why? I'm going to go back to Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was drafted number 12 in his NFL draft. And the pick that was right after Aaron Donald was Kyle Fuller. No knock on Kyle Fuller. I'm sorry, Aaron Donald was 13. Kyle Fuller was 14. No knock on Fuller, but in that draft, and D knows this, I was on Aaron Donald. Like, man, if we get Aaron Donald, bro, this is that's the dude that I hope we can get. And he went the pick before. So if you mean to tell me that we lose to the Lions and we go from 10, 11, 12 up to 6?
No, sir. No, sir. We went from 15
to 15 to 6. 15 to 6. I'll take that. That's a big difference. The other reason why that's a big difference, in the Bears, they may not stay at 6. Who knows? But the other reason why that's a big difference, if they're in the top 10, let's say, if some of those quarterbacks start to fall, Poles can trade back. And he can make up and get another second-round pick, a third-round pick, a pick for next year, and continue to add on to talent to this team. Or you're in a situation where you're like, no, you know what? No, I want the best player right now. I want my top 10 pick, and I want to take it. But you don't have those same abilities, those same opportunities when you're at 15.
Look, life is all about adjusting on the fly, right? You know what I mean? And can you spin, the lady at halftime in
Yeah.
NBA games? You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty
Spinning the
much what
sausage.
life is. Life is a series of doing that shit every day, right? And how well do you do it? So at the beginning of the year, when there's the promise, and me and you are like, oh man, maybe this team can win. Okay, if they started out 3-1, and then right now they're like 5-3, maybe you're pissed off about this loss. But right now you got 3 wins.
Yeah.
So at this point of the season, what do you want to do now? Do you want to get middle of the road, middle of the pack draft picks, or do you want to get the best draft? Because you're not, like you said, you're not going to make the playoffs. The team was gutted, as like some people say, as far as the talent that was traded away.
Yep.
And you got an offensive line that we got the steal. I'm seeing the film. They were all staring at him when he scored that first touchdown.
Yeah.
So, what is it you want Poles to do here? Make the
Right.
team better or make the team better? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. No, you're 100% right about that. And I think it's one of those things that seems so obvious and so clear as day when you have these folks sitting here nitpicking about, well, I want to see, Fields bring something to fruition on these drives and,
In
and
what
actually
world?
win.
With what line?
Well,
With what
not only not
separation?
not only with what line, but if you look at the opportunities that the Bears have had, the instances in which they've fallen short in these fourth quarter comebacks have not been on Justin. He put the ball right on Equanimeous St. Brown's hand. Bayless Jones was the one that fumbled the punt. Smith
Two
Morset or whatever
punts.
the dude's
Two
name.
punts. Two.
The Smith Morset guy from the
the,
Vikings
the,
game that's
the,
not on the team
right.
anymore.
Yeah.
Um, he
Not not
fumbled.
not, not gonna work here anymore. That's
Right.
it.
Not gonna work here anymore. So, in all those situations, Justin showed up and like he was like, "Hey, we're moving the rock." And like, "Oh damn, you fumbled. All right, keep your head up, man. Let's go. Come on. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's doing the right thing as a leader, but like you can't put the blame on Justin when he's doing his part. It is a team game, and everybody else has to step up. And if they're not, then we get in the L's, which is okay right now.
And it just astounds me, man, because like we're not young, but we ain't old. So like you got these people who cover the team who've been fans for years. Like you've been watching the same team that I've been watching, right? Like we ain't never had nothing like this. Don't run it away. Like give it its flowers while it's here. Appreciate what you have. Because like y'all acting real spoiled out here in year 2. Like we just used to this. You know what I mean?
Right. Like we had Brett Favre here and came across Aaron Rodgers and our history is full of quarterbacks. But Justin Fields is about to set all the Chicago Bears records
Before the
before
end of
his
next
second
year.
contract. Well, I think I said it last show. Before his second contract, he's gonna have the NFL Bears records before he inks his second contract.
Yeah, so like be easy. I mean, like again, we were the ones that said after that Washington game, stop missing meals. You need to get it together. Like you the one that lost this game. You know what I mean? Trust. Like we're gonna be hard on him when the time is when it's necessary.
But
But I mean,
it,
like
but
there's no
it,
reason to look other than the fact of lack of talent and just this is what it is. This is what the season's gonna be. If you have that perspective, you can enjoy every single. Because I've been enjoying the hell out of these games recently. Because I'm not
yeah.
expecting nothing. I'm just trying to make sure he don't get hurt,
Right.
man.
And even in that Washington game, he did have multiple mishaps in Justin, but he still put the ball there for or for Darnell Mooney to get the catch. And if it wasn't a
Yeah,
bobble
he
catch,
catch that at
that
the
would
end
have
of the
been a game.
game. Yeah, thank you. That's what
Right.
I'm saying.
So, again, it's like, yeah, you can get off Fields, but when it comes to the clutch, like, dude's showing up. He's showing up. And I mean, even we can go back to last year, he was showing up. Because again, I'll continue to go back to that Steelers game in which the defense gave up some points. There was a game against the Ravens with the defense gave up some points later. So don't give me this stuff as far as you need to see Justin to win. You need to see Justin actually have some talent around him. And when he sees some talent around him, look out.
Yeah, it's
Like
gonna be.
I'm not bullshitting y'all. Like for real, barring injury,
That's why I
barring
said.
injury,
That's why I was like,
this
get excited. Please get excited. I want you to. You
this
need to.
yeah, it's one of those things. I don't I'm not looking forward to the end of the season. At the same point, I am looking forward to see what this offseason looks like, because
You are
when we
mad.
when
You
we
want to
do a
sim
free
to the next
agency,
season,
right? I want to, but and that's I meant to say that earlier in the show. Like when we were talking about this season to begin the season, we were like, this is a year that you would want to sim in Madden. Like you got your franchise quarterback, but I have no money to spend. I have no draft picks right now. Like this, I'm losing this year. Let me send this
you
shit,
did
turn the
say that.
injuries off,
You did
and
say
send
that.
this shit.
You did say that.
That is the type of year that we want.
Please keep the
And
perspective. This is a sim season.
this is a sim season.
Take the injuries off and sim.
Right, take the injuries off and sim it. And right now we're getting exactly what we want. Like, hey, you want that top 5, top 10 draft pick.
And that's the thing. That's why as a Bears fan, like yesterday, I was like, you know what? And I don't know, I think I was here. It was the CHGO podcast when it was like or this after show. They were like, yeah, we went up from 16 to 15 to 6. I was like, well, damn, then fine by me. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And yeah, because we're 3-7 right now. They're not going nowhere, man. Like, and there are things, not just Justin, to be excited about. I mean, like Post, it ain't just always there's Justin in the cupboard is bare. Like we got some guys on this team, like your boy SandBOURNE. Like he might be a starter on this team next year.
Yeah, Sanborn looked good. I think he had 12 tackles, 2 sacks, maybe 2 tackles for loss.
He had an
And would have
interception
had the
too.
interception.
No, he had that.
Right,
In
an
my
interception
book,
too.
he
So,
had that.
I saw somebody talking. I saw some tweet where somebody was like, just a dumb tweet. I didn't even send it to you, D, because I was like, this is stupid shit. Somebody said Roquan Smith has had more of an impact on Bears wins than Justin Fields. And then you turn around and you're like, Sanborn just had 12 sacks, 12 tackles, 2 sacks, should have had an interception, 2 tackles for loss. Like, it's not much difference than what Roquan was doing, and we still lost the game.
If y'all wouldn't have told me he was wearing 18, I wouldn't even notice he was okay.
Whatever. Yeah. So it's, like you said, Sanborn, if I can say his name right, he looks like somebody that can stay around. Who knows if he'll be a starter.
Look, Lance Briggs called him Jack Bourne yesterday. He's still, so yeah, he still got to make a name for himself.
he called him Jack Bourne?
Just Bourne, like the Bourne Ultimatum, Bourne Identity.
Oh, okay, Bourne.
Like Bourne, they was like SandBOURNE.
Yes, so he definitely is gonna have to still make his name a household name for a little bit, but hey, if he keeps playing like that, he's gonna have a spot on this team.
They've been talking about him since preseason, bro. Like
yeah, they have been, because he played well in preseason.
They've been expecting him.
Yeah, he played well in preseason. The only thing that I'm upset about it, he doesn't have a good nickname like that dude from Hard Knocks, Rodrigo. I need a better nickname.
I'm gonna give the SandBOURNE identity, baby. Like
Sanborn, man.
the Sandman, SandBOURNE identity.
Jason Sanborn.
Yeah, Jason, the SandBOURNE ultimatum.
So another question, just being a little critical of the game here on Sunday. Where was Claypool? I saw he only had 19 snaps, so that was a little concerning. Or I shouldn't say concerning. Just like you make the trade for him, like he's got to be out there on the field.
I think this is a lack of perspective issue here. I would wait until at least a couple weeks. I mean, the thing we were saying a lot about Justin is it seems like the only person he has chemistry with is Darnell Mooney. We're waiting for him to kind of work out like chemistry with receivers, especially when again the other guy on the side of the field is a millionaire pro athlete playing against you. Like you need timing, you need chemistry. Okay, well I like to throw the ball. When you run your hits, you run it to this shot, it's going to be up here. Something, I mean, like there are the little idiosyncrasies that you just get a feel for, just like a point guard in the center. Same thing. Like, and it's been what, like 10 days, something like that, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and another thing to that is, should we really be focusing on where was Claypool when the game plan produced 30 points?
Well, I think you should be focused on it just because we gave up our second round pick.
Right.
Which is
a week ago.
Now, right. But I'm saying that second round pick is now, 38, 39 or something like that. So it's a high second round pick where it's like, man, if
The
you're a high second round pick that we gave up for, I want to see you on the field.
How long do you expect Claypool to be on the team for a second round pick?
You want him to get that second contract, but again, I think it's like, well, do we need to see something before you give us before we give you the second contract?
So okay, how long do you think he'll be on the team before you have to make that decision?
You're right. You don't have to make that until unless he starts balking and starts throwing a hissy fit. Hopefully, you don't have to make that until end of next year.
So we got time.
Yes, hopefully so. And so to speaking of your time, I think really, like I said, I kind of said it just from a standpoint of do got to be a little critical here, right? But at the same point, I'm looking at the schedule, and I'd say 4 more weeks. You got Atlanta, the Jets, Green Bay, and then the bye week. After the bye week,
Yeah, we should be seeing something soon for sure.
right? And so I think, especially after that bye week, I think if we don't see something those last 3 games or the last 4 games of the season, that's when there'd be some cause for the concern, especially after the bye.
You've had a couple weeks. You've had
give
a
us
couple
some time.
games and a bye. Why are you still not on the offense?
Yeah.
Holler at us in like 4 weeks.
Yeah. So did have to put it out there, but not too concerned about that right now.
But just that, to that point, the Claypool thing, the Fields thing, and I think this team in general, I think, and you know what it is. I think sometimes, like in relationships, people do that. Like, you see potential in somebody, so like you want them to just be perfect right away. And why don't you? It's like you don't understand that there's a process in this, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's levels to this shit, and like you want to, like, and if you rush these levels, then you're not gonna get the end product you want. You know what I mean? Like, and I think because we're so excited as Bears fans and seeing the potential. Well, oh, we got this new toy, like yeah, and it's like, again, I think I said it last week. We acted like new money out here, like we don't understand. Like, it takes time for receivers to gel. It takes time for, hey, like quarterbacks have stages. You were just talking about Steve Young in Tampa Bay. They thought all he was a runner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, he threw 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, let the process play out. And I think because we are so tied up into this emotionally, like week to week, we're like, well, we didn't, you know what I mean? Like, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it, because we ain't never had this, and you gonna miss it when it's gone. And 10, 20 years from now, we're gonna be talking about Justin Fields like, boy, man, remember, like, enjoy
it. Yeah, you're right about that. Definitely enjoy it. And I think for me, to your point, like, because Bears fans, because we've never had this type of QB, and it's one where, like, I want to see every games. It's so crazy, bro. Because, like, me, like, I don't have like big, oh, that's my favorite player. Like, I have players that I like, but from a Bears standpoint, like, I was Urlacher, of course, like everybody else. I like Lance, I like Hester, but if somebody was like, "Who's your favorite player?" I wouldn't be like, "Oh, just directly to that one person." You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people that I like in terms of the league. Like, now, my daughter, if you go ask my daughter who's your daddy's favorite player, she will tell you Justin Fields. Like, no questions asked.
Oh, you was getting on me today in the DMs. You was like, you sound like that's your son, the way you defended him.
Right, you're right.
You damn right.
They was like, we gotta get this show going and tell these folks they need to sit down and calm down and stop talking about Justin. God damn it! What do you want from me?
That's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. No, but you're right. You're right. He's our guy, and the reason why you don't,
you not entertained?
Well, the reason why you don't, because it takes a special kind of player. Like, I've known you for years. Your favorite guys have been special, like Sean Taylor, special, like Ocho Cinco. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be a special type of guy. And not only is he special, but he's our guy, man. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, I feel 100%.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good here, just to kind of continue to see things play out. He's proven it to me. There's nothing more that I really need to see to say. There's nothing I need to see more in terms of him being a franchise QB. Before we go to the game next week, I saw something from this with I think Benjamin Albright, who is a guy out there in Dallas, or excuse me, out there in Denver with you, and he had made a tweet last week talking about something about the
This guy.
is still what do you say? He's still in audition mode. Justin Fields is still in audition mode, and that the Bears may go a different route in terms of quarterback. And I'm like, and I actually responded. I was like, what more does he have to do? Like, when is the audition over? Like, what is it more that he has to prove?
Nah, see, you need backstory there. See what
Yeah,
that
you
is.
mad because your ass didn't get him.
That's the chick that sees the guy that she wanted, right, with somebody else, and the first thing she says, he used to holler at me back in the day, but I ain't want. No, 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 no. You
Right.
want him, and now you're critical.
Right. Your team decided to get Patrick Surtain when you didn't have a quarterback. You felt it would work with
spent
Drew
gangs
Lock.
of money. Spent
Right. You
gangs of
thought it would
money.
work with Drew Lock, and then you turned around and got Russell, and now here you are.
Oh yeah, but we're starting to see that. I think I either sent you some or liked some on Sunday. Patriot. There was a guy that covered the Patriots. Oh man, I wish you after the 67-yard run. I was hoping the Patriots traded up for him. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you starting to see how that Mike Martz had to eat that crow too. You starting to see it
Yeah.
trickle in slowly. Everybody that was quick to talk, you having to.
But it's so funny how quick it was. Like it's literally been like 3 weeks because those first 2 weeks of his good games, folks still weren't jumping on. 3 weeks later, everybody's like, "Oh,
Because it's
he's the best,
undeniable. It's undeniable.
the best running quarterback of all time, or best quarterback of this draft, no question." Which that is easily no question.
Yeah.
Um,
But we saw it. But we saw, and I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on why they were so critical of him coming out of college when all he did was win, when all he did was show on the biggest stages. I can't quite put my finger on how they thought he wasn't gonna be good when he had a live ass arm and a 4.340. But I don't know. He's quite the quarterback for us.
so next up, the Bears are going to Atlanta to play the 4-6 Falcons. This is another one here. Bears are 3-7, Falcons are 4-6. Like I feel we could win it. I really do. If we don't, I'm not going to be upset. Again, as long as Justin remains healthy, I think he's going to put up another good game in terms of just what he's doing. I'm not saying he's going to get 4 touchdowns because I don't expect him to do that every week. But the Bears could win this game. And I think this is one where, in terms of the difference between the Lions record and the Falcons record, actually going into the Lions game, I started like the Lions could actually stay with us because they have a good offense on both the passing side and the rushing side. Because I think they had top 10 passing and top 10 rushing offense going into last week against the Bears. Falcons, I don't get that. I haven't looked at the numbers, I'll be honest. But the Falcons, I just don't get that same sense as far as their team. Like, they seem like a team that's more in a little bit disarray as far as just everything that they got going on there, both with Mariota at quarterback and on the defensive side of the ball. So I feel we could get the win, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me last week, do I think we're gonna beat the Lions and the Falcons? I would have said yeah, because I thought we beat the Lions, just thinking that we had enough. Defensively, it's such a crapshoot, and
Yeah, it's a crapshoot.
it's just because of the bodies we got out there that like I don't. You go into every game thinking we got a chance, and we can also lose because of the defense.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
because of defense.
So yeah, I don't know. Atlanta could play a good game, or we could, go out and put up 45 on them. And
Yeah,
honestly, that's what the games are probably going to be the rest of the year. You know what I mean? Like you hope guys don't get injured. You hope you get. I hope we see progress out of like the Briskers and the Gordons. You know what I mean? Guys like that, the
yeah.
SandBOURNEs. But as a unit, as a clique, as an organization, I don't think our defense is gonna do too much against anybody. So it's gonna be a close one either way.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this team, and pretty much all their games except for what the Cowboys game. They've been pretty much in every single game within a score for the most part. Um, so
And,
I
and
think this
that's
is
another thing. I think I was tweeting with Greg Braggs today, and he was saying like that's the thing. Like you can't say, oh well, they need to build a winning culture. Losing is building the wrong kind. No, this is a team that still plays for their first year head coach. They putting up points, 30 something a game, like you said, for a defensive first year head coach. Like they're in a good spot, whether they win or lose. I
Right. Yeah, last 4 games, I think they're averaging 31. Um, and it's it's they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right because everybody can still progress and the team can still lose, and I think that's where people are falling short because
they're
the
thinking
talent
it's an either
is
or. They're thinking it's either
yeah,
or,
like
but it's very
the
gray. It's
actual
very
team,
gray.
like
Very
beyond right
gray.
beyond Justin, the actual team can have progress and still lose the games. And that's just because of the talent that we have. We're very much lacking up front on both sides of the ball, and but we knew this was coming. We knew at the beginning of the year.
It's funny to see
You
people like
have
ride the roller coaster, ain't it? When we said we everybody, it seemed like we were in concert. That this is the
yeah
year we find out what we got with Justin. Everything else it don't matter. But
right. And but what I will say, because what I will say, like a few weeks ago when we played Washington, like the roller coaster was on the downward end of that week, but the roller coaster since then has been all up, and it's been a good ride because what we're seeing out of Justin, and like we'll continue. I keep harping on it. We keep saying it, but we wanted to see growth and progression out of Justin, and I couldn't have called this.
this is more
If
this is
you would
more
have
production than we thought we was gonna get. Like
right, like if you would
let's
have
just
told
be
me that
honest.
this is where we would be with Justin Fields at
You
week
lying.
10, you lying.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. You mean to tell me that Lamar Jackson is going to do something to where folks are going to be saying he's better than Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick in week 10 of year 2? Like, shut up. After Matt Nagy's offense last year, what we saw, shut up. Get out of here.
You say the Bears are
I
gonna
don't
run
believe
for
you.
200 yards in like 4 or 5 straight games
I don't believe you.
with this offensive line? Like that's the thing. Like people are
Led by your quarterback?
like you knew what this
I don't believe you.
offensive line was before the season, and if I told you this running game is top 5 in the league, and they rushed for 200 yards for at least 5 straight games, like like let's keep that same energy, man, because we knew this offensive
Yeah.
line was crap. We didn't know what Tevin
Because
Jenkins was gonna play.
right, and Tevin Jenkins was out yesterday. We missed him for sure because you could tell that
Talking
he could
about
still
before
take
the
a hit.
season, we thought we was gonna
Well, yeah,
trade
yeah,
the
yeah.
nigga.
Right. We thought we were going to trade him. Now it's like, no, we need to keep him for years. He needs to be here for 10. Um, but the other part about it too, as far as the game, like Justin's ability from a running standpoint is causing defenses not to rush as much and stay back, so that he's even getting more time in those instances
Cole
where
Kmet
it's not because of the quarter.
wide
I mean,
open.
it's not because of the offensive line. It's because the defense is like, oh shit, let's not rush as hard on this play right here.
But that Cole Kmet play, he
Yeah.
does bootleg. The entire defense goes with him this way.
Yep.
And Cole Kmet's like, oh, I'm over here, peace. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's impact player.
Yeah. So just excited for what's to come. It's gonna be good.
This is for Sterling Loop, and I am Chicago Jones DW. Hey man, keep your perspective with Justin Fields and this team. We got a long way to go, and another season with a whole lot of money. Make sure to watch us on YouTube. I'm serious, man. We about to be get it. Just give it out, give it all. Buy a whole new offensive line. Yes. Shake them ham hocks, you sinner. Give me a left guard too.
Give my little Abbott Elementary day.
Yes. You can find us on YouTube, View from the Stands podcast. Search us Apple Music and SoundCloud at View from the Stands. VFTS podcast, and then on Twitter at VFTS podcast. For Sterling Luke, once again, I am Chicago Jones DW. This is our View from the Stands.